I'm going to do a Java program, and using Eclipse, I'm going to start off with a new project. I've already got a project on here, so I'm going to make a new project, new Java project, and call it exercise 1. Leave those to defaults and click finish. I'm going to right click on here. This is the project I just created. I'm going to right click on here, new package, give it a package name, whatever I want it to be, as long as it's a valid name, no spaces, no starting off with numbers. Okay, now that I've got a package started, now I want to add a class. So, and I don't want to rename a class. I don't want to change anything after I've got this started. Although I could, but just to be safe, I want to just leave everything the way it is. And this is my, I'll call it exercise 1 class. Okay, and I want to check this off, public static void main. I can go ahead and add that in. I can manually type it, but why manually type it if it'll put it in there for me? And when I do that, oh, I didn't mean to do that. When I do that, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this comment, and it puts a it put in this public static. Here's what when I put that check mark in there, it added this code to me for me. Uh, so I didn't need to. Okay, and it's inside of this package, and I gave my package a particular name. And I'm going to move this down a little bit. Okay, now I want to test this to make sure everything's working okay. So I'm going to say system.out. And it's taking a minute to catch up with me. Print line. And I want to, inside of double quotes, I want to make sure that everything's working okay. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and run this. And to run this, I'm going to right click inside of here. And I'm going to say run as Java application. And OK. And down here on the console output window, it looks like it's working okay. Okay, so for the exercise I've got for today, one thing, I'm going to go ahead and take this out. I'm going to need to use the scanner class. And to do that, what I need to do is I need to import it because it's sitting inside of a package called java.util star asterisk means I have access to all of that code, and inside all of that code, one of those things, and let me move this down too. Okay, so maybe it's easier to see it this way. Inside of that, I've got the scanner class is one of those. So outside of the main method, here's the main method. Here's the class. So inside this class, I've got this method. So what I'm going to do is inside of the class, I'm going to go ahead and do something called a instantiate an object. Or in other words, I'm going to use this scanner class. And I'm going to come up with a name. I'm going to call it call it console. Okay, whoops, and equal sign, new scanner, and inside of that, system.in. Okay, so that has to be outside of my method, and I'm not going to go over this now, but static, I've got a static method here, so this needs to be static so I can use it inside of here. So now what I want to do is that I'm going to write some code. I'm going to first declare a couple integer variables, and they are integer data type. So write that. There's a little warning message over here that says, yeah, you created these, but you haven't used them yet. Okay, well, I'll use them later on. And then the next thing I want to do is that I want to I'm going to adjust this a little bit. And I'm going to have this say enter the length. Put a space in there. And in fact, I could go ahead and put this on the end right here if I wanted to. So I don't know if that makes more sense or not to have it stuck onto the end. Let me move these over a little bit. So that'll all fit on there. Okay, so I've got two statements on one line. And that's just so it's easier to see. So what it's going to do is when this program runs, it's going to say system.out.print, and it's print, no spaces there, and it's going to say enter the length. And then this console, and this is from here, this console, I've got a bunch of methods associated with that. I'm going to delete that and type the dot operator, and you'll see a list of stuff that I have to choose from here. Well, the one that I want is nextInt. Okay. Okay, and what it's going to do is it's saying on the console, which is down here, it says wait until the user types in an integer value, and an integer value is a whole number. And then whatever that number is, store it into this variable that I called length. And length, again, is an integer data type. So I can only store whole numbers in there. Okay. And down here, I want to do the same thing, only I want to, instead of enter the length, I want it to say enter the width. Okay. And I'll put this one on the same line too. I could leave it on the next line, but might as well leave it here. And then on the next line, what I want to do is that now that I've got these, what I can do is that I can calculate these. How about if I put another variable up here, and I'm going to say it's an integer data type, and I'll call it square feet. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to use that now that I've declared that. I've got the length and the width. Those have been entered in. Let me go ahead and run this just to make sure everything's running okay. And again, I'll right click in here, run as, Java application, I'm going to save everything. And down here in the console area, it says enter the length. So it says, I told it to say enter the length, so it does that down here. And now it's waiting. The console next in says that it's waiting for me to enter in a number. So I'll enter in 5. Press the enter key to let it know that I'm done, and it says enter the width. So again, it says enter the width here, and then it's waiting for me to type something in, and it's going to store it into width. And if I go up here, well, let's go ahead and do this. So I'll type in the width and say 4. Okay. So now that it's done with that, all it's going to do is print out a blank line, and then it'll hit the end of the program and be done. So when I press the enter key, print out a blank line, and the program's done. Okay, so I want to do a little more than that. So now make sure I'm no longer debugging. Okay, and check here under run. Okay, okay, so it's not running. What I want to do, yeah, let's print out a blank line. But after that, I want to do a calculation. I want to put double quotes in here, and I'm going to say the square feet equals, put a space after that. And then after that, I'm going to put in space, this. It's not really a plus sign, it's a concatenation symbol. And then I'm going to multiply these two things. And when I multiply it, I should put it in parentheses just to make sure that it knows that this is going to be a calculation. And I'm going to say length times width. Okay. And I've got that in parentheses. And make sure I've got a closing parenthesis on my print line statement. Got my ending semicolon. And now let's see what it does. So I'm going to run this again. Run as Java application. Okay. Enter the length, 5. Enter the width, 6. And the square feet is 30, which is 6 times 5 is 30. So it multiplied it there. But I had this variable that I haven't used yet, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. Let's see, right before this happens, I'm going to say square feet equals length times width. Okay. I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to replace this with square feet. Okay. Okay. So hopefully you can see all this, and now when this runs, it should do the same thing. And Java run as Java application. Okay. Enter the length, click down here, enter the width, 2, enter, and square feet, or 2 times 6 is 12, so the square feet is 12. Okay, so that's a basic program on length, width, multiplication, and using the scanner class, scanner class rather. Okay, that's all.